call the meeting to order in a second, but first we're going to administer some oaths of office. The first one to the mayor, Kathy Mulcahy. Oh, hi. And we have one of our wonderful government individuals here, Juanita Brent. So I assume you're administering the oath? All right, great, thanks.
Juanita is our state rep, for those who do not know.
I state your name.
I, Kathy Mulcahy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations,
the rules, regulations,
and charter of Orange Village,
and charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
my duties as mayor of Orange Village,
my duties as mayor of Orange Village,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations.
Back.
Don't we get to shake your hand?
Just go shake
around
hands.
everybody?
Yeah, isn't that the usual protocol?
She's only done it 7 times, so.
Should I?
Thank you, Steve.
Congratulations, we look forward to working with you.
I do too.
I do. Congratulations.
Muzzle tough.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, anybody can walk it?
We'll administer me now.
I will. Yeah, wherever you want, maybe your mother wants to.
Photo op.
I state your name.
Official watch.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, the rules, regulations, and charter of Orange Village, and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge my duties as councilman of Orange Village, State of Ohio, during my continuance in said office. Congratulations.
Failed at that one.
You don't want to touch anybody?
Thanks for playing.
Now, we will administer the oath to Pradeep Kant. So if you want to.
Okay. This is really a big deal. It's his first time, right? Yes. So we have a lot of people here to see you. Okay. All right. You standing where you want. Got your photographer lined up in the right place. Okay. Okay. If you want, you can go stand wherever gives you the best. Ready? Sure you want to do this? I state your name.
I, Pradeep Kant,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of
the
Ohio,
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations, and charter
the rules, regulations, and charter
of Orange Village,
of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as councilman of Orange Village,
as councilman of Orange Village,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in office.
Congratulations.
And Mrs. Vincent, you're up.
Whoa.
Just a water bottle. It's all good.
Okay. Absolutely. Any way you want.
Welcome to the day.
Move them over because I don't think they're going to hit on the video.
I won't be. They'll block me from being on the video. It looks like a barbershop quartet up there.
We can sing. Are we okay?
We're good, probably.
Brandon says we're good.
Everybody, where they want to be? Okay. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm darn sure. I state your name. I state you. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear.
We put a link on there?
Support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of Ohio. The Constitution of the State of Ohio. The rules, regulations. The rules, regulations. And Charter of Orange Village. And Charter of Orange Village. And that I will faithfully. And that I will faithfully. Honestly and impartially. Honestly and impartially. Discharge my duties. Discharge my duties. As Councilman of Orange Village. As Councilwoman of Orange Village. Correction. State of Ohio. State of Ohio. During my continuance in said office. During my continuance in said office. It's official. Congratulations. Thank you.
Wasn't on it.
We take these actions before we do this.
And what did I do wrong?
This is Councilman.
Question?
Welcome. Congrats.
Sorry about that.
Welcome.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you. We invite
To my world.
everyone to stay. That night is in the highlight. We have cake and receptions. Should be.
We have cake. We talked about this last night at planning.
So, the meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'd call roll, please, Hannah.
Silver. Here. Klein.
Here.
Bilski.
Here.
Vincent.
Here.
Perry. Here. Duber.
Here. We'll start with I'll make a motion to appoint Raymond J. Guarini as a part-time firefighter paramedic.
So moved.
Second? Did you second that?
I so moved.
I made a motion. Second? Okay, there we go. And Chief, if you'd like to introduce your new minion.
Ray is actually standing up right here. Ray, did you bring anybody with you if you'd like to introduce him first?
My dad, Ray, mom, Tammy, little brother Sam, and girlfriend Tyler.
Ray comes to us with his 240 fire. He's also a certified paramedic. Ray went to the University of West Virginia where he got a degree in athletic coaching and psychology. There we go. And he ended up playing 2 years with the Seattle Mariners. And he's my ringer on the fire department softball team. So good luck, Chief Costura. And with that, we ask for your appointment for Ray to get onto our fire department.
Anybody have anything?
Please.
Silver. Yes. Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Kamat. Vincent. Yes. Perry. Yes. Duber.
Congratulations. Come on up here and the mayor will swear you in.
I state your name.
I, Raymond Joseph Guarini,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
Support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Ohio.
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
Regulations.
the rules, regulations,
And Charter of Orange Village.
and Charter of Orange Village,
And that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
How's it
discharge
look?
my duties
discharge my duties
as a part-time firefighter, paramedic
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village
of Orange Village,
We're two of them.
State of Ohio,
during my
Hannah and I.
continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard. Hold on before you go shake everybody. wear this proudly. Hello, and then come back and sign this.
Congratulations.
That's, you control the
My son is eager to meet you.
Suitable for Frank.
And there is going to be a presentation by the Orange Community Education and Recreation Levee Committee. And hi, if you'd like to come up and introduce yourself and speak in front of that wonderful microphone right there.
Move that mic. Wait 1 second, I'm sorry. Somebody move my microphone. You're not.
move your cheese.
Sorry. I'm the picture now. I'm gonna
In the picture, if that, and if you're trying to get in the camera, it's not.
That's off.
not?
No.
Over
It has to
there.
be of
It's
that-
got to be
on
over
side.
that way.
Where?
On that side?
It doesn't ca- so is Stacy not on camera?
But she's right at the edge.
She's right on the edge.
I'm sorry.
She's falling off the edge.
Okay, tell me where. Is that good?
Yeah, definitely.
You'll be, yeah, 1 moment.
Keep going. We're waiting for it to, the buffering to stop.
Good?
So, yes.
Look great.
Thanks. Okay. Well, Mayor Mulcahy, members of council, members of your administration, I'm Jill Corsock. I'm the director at Orange Community Education and Recreation. Some of us have met, some of us have not, but it's my pleasure. Thank you for allowing us to come and talk to you tonight. As you know, Orange Community Education and Recreation serves all residents of the Orange School District, including residents of Orange Village. We proudly play an integral role in the community, and it's one that we value along with all the relationships that we maintain. From an award-winning preschool and quality after-school programs to youth sports, our Stagecrafters Theater program, to all of our opportunities for adults and seniors, we feel we are truly helping to build community one activity at a time. We have a levy on the ballot March 17th. It's a 5-year renewable levy that's been on the ballot every 5 years since 1975. So we are back at it again. So I have a few key facts for you as we begin our campaign to inform voters and residents what the levy is about and what they can expect from us. So if you wouldn't mind, I have just a few quick things to share with you. And then Orange resident John Driscoll, who's also part of our Recreation Commission appointed by Mayor Mulcahy, also has a resident's perspective of the value of our department. So as I mentioned, this levy was first introduced in 1975 as a way of partially funding our department. The levy funding provides about 25% of our total operating budget. The other 75% is earned through participant fees, grants, and donations. It's a very healthy model of funding because participants who use our services pay for the bulk of our department. And we're very happy with the way that works. As a renewal, it does not increase taxes. In fact, the department hasn't sought any additional tax money since 1995. So for 25 years, we've been operating with 0.95 mils, which I think also offers a great, what's the word I'm looking for? Great value, and shows that we operate very conservatively. We're very fiscally responsible with the taxpayer money that we do receive, and we put most of that on our participants who use the services. So in 1995, people were paying $28 per $100,000 in home value for our department per year. That continues today. So $100,000 in tax valuation on your property produces $28 of income to our department. That continues. It's been the same since 1995. One key factor to point out, and something that we want to stress as voters go to the ballot, is the ballot language is also the same as in 1995. As a renewal, the state of Ohio says that you can change nothing about that issue. So the language that was on in 1995 is the same language that we're using for this on March 17th. And because the Orange School District is our fiscal agent, it appears that it's an Orange School District tax levy. However, when you read the ballot language, it says for recreation services, and that's the only indication that it is for our department and not for the school district. So it's something that both entities would like to make perfectly clear. Our tax dollars never mingle. So all funding coming from this levy goes directly to our department, and any money that goes to the school district stays with the school district. We don't share funding. As we are growing, as the community grows, so is our department. We've experienced about an 8% increase just since last year, with many new families coming into the district, many bringing children with them. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to continue to grow, but we are growing, and that also puts a little bit of funding need onto us, so the levy is very important to our continuation. Again, in voting for Orange Community Education and Recreation, you're supporting youth sports, Stagecrafters Theater, Orange Early Childhood Preschool, Youth Recreation, before and after school programs, Orange Art Center, Orange Senior Center, our pools, all the great things that we do. So we appreciate your consideration and in helping us inform voters. I know John has a few words, and then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great, thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I have some things I'd like to pass out, if you guys could share being an Orange Village resident for many years, I know the Orange Recreation Department is fantastic. My son and all his friends took advantage of all the baseball and swimming and everything that was offered. I think with Orange Village putting in the recreation trails and the beautiful parks, the Recreation Department is just a continuation of that. It's money well spent. There's no increase in revenue, and I'd like to ask everyone to endorse it. I actually have some endorsements right here, if anyone would like to sign one and hand it back. But, I believe it's a good thing, and anyone can talk to me about it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you want to leave that, I'm happy to do endorsement. I'm sure a lot of people on council are as well.
Endorsements?
If you want to leave that, and we can get them. Thank you.
I had one question for Jill before you go. I think it was in the Plain Dealer, there was a list of levies that were coming up, and that erroneously said Orange Schools. I don't know if you've reached out to them or not.
We did, yeah. Lou DeVincentis actually created the email that clarified that with the reporter.
Okay, good.
That language is a little bit confusing, but March 17th is Community Education and Recreation.
Okay. I know I've been trying to inform people about this, and this is good that you're distributing exactly what the ballot's going to look like.
Yeah, our website is there as well as our Twitter and Facebook pages, so we'll be posting continual information on those sites as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Please. Oh.
Yeah.
Looks that way. Are these ones for everybody? Oh. You want to pass those around? Great. Moving on to our yearly housekeeping. Nominations to appoint the council president for 2020. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Brandon Bieber.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? All right.
I'd like to move we close nominations.
What's that?
I'd like to move we close nominations.
All right. We can do that. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And
if you want to save a vote, you move to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot since there's only one nomination.
I will do so.
okay.
I'd like to hear everybody say yes.
No,
No. You can have a vote to close nominations.
I don't need
Unanimous ballot.
I don't need that. But and then Lisa seconded it already. Or wait, did you second? You.
I did.
You did. Okay.
The closure of the nomination.
I heard me do it, but.
I heard Lisa.
I heard Lisa do it.
No, Lisa, the nomination.
We then adjusted it.
You seconded the closing of the nominations.
Excuse me.
Maybe I shouldn't be president. All right, if you would call roll on that, please.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Kamat,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry, Duber.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. And moving to the nominations to appoint the council president pro tem for 2020. I'll make a motion for Mr. Bilski again, if you're interested.
And that,
Sure, thank you.
Any other nominations for pro tem? And then,
shall I make a motion to instruct the clerk to cast a unanimous ballot for Mr. Bilski?
and close the
Close nominations.
Second, anyone? Okay, Mr. Klein. Thank you.
I'm Mr. Second.
Mr. Second.
Number 2.
All right, and if you'd call roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Kamat,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. I will make a motion to appoint Mr. Comet and, I know, I'm just moving things around, keeping it in logical order. To appoint Mr. Comet and Ms. Vincent as the two council members of the Volunteer Firefighters Dependent Fund of board members. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Generally, it's the newest council members who are part of this, and we hope and continue that this never has to be used.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah.
Mr. Byron, would you like to?
It's an old thing that if there is a fatality, this board would direct the payments to families of unforeseen for the
It's largely, well, they would arise as a consequence of it's largely been supplanted by police and fire pension fund.
But there's still an element of it that's still alive, but it would require a fatality in the fire department for there to be activity from that committee.
If you would call roll on that. Or, is everybody's questions answered on that? Okay. If you call roll, please.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Kamat,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing his name right?
Can I have a motion to confirm the appointment of Amanda Kurland to the Finance Committee?
So moved?
I'll second it.
Thank you, and thank you. Any comments? Please, you can.
Finance Committee unanimously recommends council appointing Amanda to us with a great resume, which you've all seen, and I think she'd be a nice addition to our committee, given her experience.
Great. Any other comments?
Silver? Yes. Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Kamat,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Why don't you come on up here and the mayor will swear you in?
You may come behind me or wherever you need to get a picture. Should I come around? You wanna come out here?
You ready?
I state your name.
I am Amanda Curlin.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulation,
the rules, regulation,
and charter of Orange Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of the Finance Committee
as a member of the Finance Committee
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Thank you for serving. Welcome aboard.
Hey, finally.
Congratulations.
Oops, sorry.
Congratulations, school board.
Thank you for your service. They're over here.
A couple endorsements that are going to maybe be on the corner there if you want to grab them.
Some,
And there might be some over here too, before you skedaddle.
I'll give it to her tomorrow.
Okay, and I'll make a motion to approve the council meeting minutes of December 11th, 2019.
I have a change. There's something, number 4.
Hold on one second. We do the motion in the second.
second.
Okay, and then you're up.
Number 4, it lists Mr. Duber as both eyeing and abstaining.
It does,
Good catch.
and I didn't.
You didn't what? Aye or abstain?
No, it has me twice. I think I abstained from that because I was
Oh,
not.
yes, because I copied and pasted. Okay.
I think,
Not there.
You were absent then.
Yeah, you were not there December.
And, yeah, so,
Brent, I think Brent abstained because that was his first meeting. Yeah.
wait a minute, hold on, let's think about this.
We'll check the replay out.
Because your grandma.
Check the instant
We're going
replay.
to throw this up to New York.
Yes.
The meeting I got sworn in, you were not here.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
So that's right. So you
It's
abstained.
not, no,
Oh.
It's the meeting of
The
December.
meeting on December 4th, approving the minutes.
then
You
I did abstain.
Just the name under the I
abstained.
needs to take off. I will fix that.
all right,
Thank you.
that's great. Thank you, good catch.
Thank you.
Sure.
Other catches?
Meeting and
Yeah,
see.
doing both.
You would call roll, please, Anna.
Silver?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Mott?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report of fiscal year 2019. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It was over there before, wasn't it?
No, and people, we could see people, so I don't
It's
know.
not an,
Change the,
it's always been close and hard to see on there.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
maybe we just have to put it more this way. Anyway, sorry. Hi.
Back with me. How's
Great.
Good evening. You had the summary of activity for the year through November for your treasurer's report. We collected $740,000 in revenue, and we spent 1.486 in expenditures, and primarily the increase is due to payments for capital projects, the rec trails. There was some bond principal and interest payments, and some road concrete and asphalt work. But outside of that, we were pretty uneventful for August, we were uneventful in August, but also in November. And then you also have your November revenue and expenditure report we were at 91% of the year. For the general fund, I give you the general fund on off quarters, and nothing else really stood out there. I did put the comments on the side of that report for you, but they were all continuing comments from prior month as well.
Any comments or questions?
I just have a question, something I just don't know. Is it standard practice that we keep $1 million in the general reserve fund? Is that a number that's consistent from year to year?
Not from year to year, but it was for the whole year for 2019. We did budget for 2020 when we went through the budget to increase that balance in 2020.
Separate from the general fund, it's just sort of our little way of saying, okay, the general fund has 2 pockets, and we're going to put this in this pocket to make it out of the mainstream of spending so that we think a little harder about it. There's no hard, fast rule about it, but we are trying to build it up. Thank you. It can be anything you want it to be.
Other comments or questions? All right, if you would call roll, please.
Silver?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Kamat? Vincent?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Duber?
Yes, and I'll make a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for December 2019. Thank you.
Second.
Wait.
Too late.
Too late.
Second.
I'll third it. I'll third it.
Let's make it a fourth.
All right, your turn again.
You have the tax administrator reports for the year end for December. We had a great year. We collected for the year to date almost $6.15 million, which is about $1.8 million higher than where we were the previous year. And that's primarily with Pinecrest, and as well, we also collected some of 2018's revenue in 19 as a result of working on income tax collection changes for that area as well. So we had a really good year for 2019. You also have your
Would you just so everybody can see, maybe at the next month's meeting, kind of do a
summary of what the report shows?
last 5 years or something like that, so everybody could.
The bar chart.
The last.
Bar chart.
I have a.
That is in the bar chart. Okay. Well, never mind.
Yes, that was my next report that I was going to explain.
I can read your mind.
The next report you have is the bar chart that's in multiple colors by month, and it shows 2016 through 2019, each of the month's collections, and you have the dollar amounts there. So you can kind of see the variations of collections. Some of the variations are due to quarterly reports coming in, when those are arriving, so that's where you see some of the quarters. And then some of the higher months are just, we were also working on getting the collections from prior years with the Pinecrest development, getting them all up to speed. So you can kind of see the variations from year to year where we collected. And then at the end of the year, I usually do an income tax monthly analysis, which is a cumulative. That's, this I don't usually give out each month, but you can kind of then see monthly the cumulative growth for those same 4 years.
Great, thank you.
But we'll go back to that original report just for clarification for the newcomers here. What I do is I break out the wages, the income individuals, and the businesses. We have Orange Village broken out for Pinecrest so we can track Pinecrest revenue. And then we have the Sugar Inn Highlands businesses. Those are separated as well. So you'll see those three breakdown categories. And then we usually, every month, I'll show you what we collected for the month compared to what we collected the prior year for that month, and then we had the cumulative from the prior year as well as the current year cumulative. And then the numbers at the bottom, we do look at a year-to-date what we had budgeted, and then compare, we take 1/12 of what we've budgeted and see where we fall in terms of if the money were to come evenly throughout the year. But as you see on that detailed report, it doesn't come evenly throughout the year. So, but it's just an easy way to kind of track where we're falling.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have questions on that?
Yeah, I'd like to take some time and sit down with you.
Well, certainly, if I was going to, I did, yes, if you want to come in, give me a call, we can set up a time, and you can stop in and see me, whether it's before a meeting or any other time. I'll be happy to.
Great, thank you. Roll, please.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Mott, Vincent,
Yes.
Perry, Duber.
Yes. Can I have a motion to authorize the purchase of 11 sets of turnout gear for the fire department from Finley Fire for the total price not to exceed $22,682? Thank you. Thank you. Chief, if you'd like to come and...
Is this where our new uniform, ours, we're going to get one? Can I get one?
When it got there.
With it.
How did it get over there?
When I'm done, I'm going to put it back over there.
Yeah, I swear I missed it.
They were saying it's supposed to be back there, so I said I would walk it back. No, but it works
Over here now. I could see him.
I can see him. But then Stacy is blocked.
Great.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
This way. No, no.
Then you're going to be off the picture.
You can,
That's right.
Go back this way.
I'll fix it later. A big deal.
It's all about the video.
This is for 11 sets of turnout gear. Turnout gear is the equipment that we wear in a fire, which is our coat, our pants, our suspenders. That's what this quote is for. But also, we consider turnout gear to be our boots, our gloves, our helmets, and our hoods. But that's not part of it. This is just for coats and pants and suspenders.
How often do we replace? And
So the lifespan on the gear is supposed to be 10 years. We carry it a little bit longer because it doesn't get as much use as, say, a busier department does. Some of this gear will be replacing gear from 1999 that a couple of members are wearing.
What do you do with the old gear?
We usually just sell it of deals, but we do keep a good portion of it so that when we hire somebody, they get that gear. But the old, we kind of phase it out as it goes through.
You want to take console people on?
We give them the good gear so they don't get hurt.
This is just part of a 3 or 5 year program?
This is going to be a 3-year process, so we'll be, in 3 years, we'll have 33 sets, but we've ordered new stuff for the new guys that we've hired in the past few years, so. We got a grant to buy, I believe, 20 sets back in 2006, so all that stuff is now kind of outdated, so we're starting the buying process again.
Around for this, or is there only like one provider?
We did, there's 3 providers in the area, because they have to come out and they have to measure each guy individually, so there has to be somebody local. So we have Finley Fire, we have Warren Fire, and we have Shamrock Gear. Shamrock Gear got bought out by Finley Fire on January 1, so we had Warren Fire and Finley Fire.
Offer.
Yeah, it was about $150 difference between the 2 companies.
all right, thanks.
I have a question. It said that there's 2318 left to purchase helmets, and was 25,000 originally allocated for this? Because that would have been before we were here. In other words,
Yeah, 25,000 is what's in the capital equipment for this year. 22, whatever that number is what we'll be buying the coats, pants, and suspenders, and then we'll buy the helmets separately to fill out the 25,000.
Thank you.
Where did you see about the helmets?
It was in the email.
Notes.
Oh, in his.
It's in his note.
Yeah.
Yep.
Questions? Okay, thanks. If you'd call roll, please.
Silver? Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Mott?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Duber?
Yes. And can I have a motion to authorize the purchase of 13 light fixtures for street light replacement on Orange Place North from Luff Electric for the total price not to exceed $16,422.25?
Moved?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Zugan, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Congratulations to the new members of council again. Through a long process of doing due diligence, it started back in the spring. Come to you requesting the purchase of these LED lights. The LED lights that are going to go up there are a match set that was done in the Pinecrest area. We hammered out an agreement with Sugar and Highlands and the Pinecrest, and they replaced those and updated LED, and that's what's also on the south side of Harvard Road. It was brought to our attention with LED and everybody putting them up there that the present lights that we had up there, which are high pressure sodium metal halide, were actually looking dim compared to all the upgrades of the LED lights around us. So that was a concern to our police department because it is one of our larger commercial districts with a lot of the hotels up there and pedestrians walking up and down. So we are going to match the lights down the rest of Orange Place. We had a photometric study done by a company that came out, Lighting Dynamics. We put up a sample that the police department has been looking at for a couple months and has agreed that the lighting, that the one fixture is a real increase. The good thing about it is we're also going to see some savings there because we're going from 400 watt lights down to 150 watt LED. There's a 9-year ROI. These are 100,000 hour lights. So do the math. I haven't done it real quick, but you can figure out the life expectancy of it.
Please do that for us, that'd be great. Any questions? All right, if you'd call roll, please.
Silver?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Kamat?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Duber?
Yes. Moving on to the audience comments relating to agenda items only. Anyone? Okay. And there's no old business tonight. Only new business is ordinance 2020-1, an ordinance amending existing chapter 721, peddlers of the codified ordinances of Orange Village by enacting a new chapter 721, peddlers and canvassers, repealing certain ordinances. This is on for first reading. This is on the agenda at my request. I have no idea what the rest of council is inclined to do with this. This was passed last year, or was it the year before? Was that
January or
2018?
February?
And basically, this ordinance would just make it a little bit stricter than it currently is. It came to my attention because, during the campaign, people are allowed to go, if you have a do not knock, you can't knock on the door, but you can go ahead and hang something on somebody's door. For me, somebody came and put something on my door, and even though they didn't knock, my dog was there, started barking, and then my baby woke up. So I just look at it as for me, this is something that if I don't really want somebody on my property, then I don't want somebody on my property. And I think this is something that the police chief, is probably in favor of to some extent. Would that be accurate? And in my opinion, there's always another way to, if you have a message or something that you want to get out to people, there's always another way to do it. There's the argument of, well, it's more expensive to put it in the mail, but then there's the argument of, well, you're hurting the environment by putting a plastic bag on my doorknob. So, I think that the intent, at least for me, when we initially did this, and Scott was the one who first brought this to everybody's attention, but and I think it's great, but for me it was to basically say, hey, and not to be a curmudgeon, but we just don't really want anyone coming and dropping literature on our front door and disturbing things such as the dog and whatnot. So that's just my opinion.
I have a question for Mr. Byron. What is the definition of canvasser and peddler that's referenced here, the section 721.02?
Yeah.
Because I know when we discussed this, when we worked on this, there was the exclusion that kids are under 18, they can still...
Section, but a canvasser is anybody who's coming to a residence without having a previous appointment for the purposes of disseminating a lawful message with or without soliciting funds or donations. A peddler is a person who's doing that for commercial gain. And so the concern with all of this is always First Amendment rights. The Supreme Court has been very clear that you can't distinguish on the basis of speech, but you can regulate commercial activity. So our code requires peddlers who are seeking to gain profit from going door to door to register, so we know who they are. Canvassers are everybody else who is distributing information. And it could be not-for-profit people who are soliciting funds.
And religious organizations would still be
canvassers.
Okay. And to the chief, are we getting a lot of people registering? Are you getting...
Yes, I don't know the number we're
Yeah, the canvassers don't register.
Okay.
Just the people who are going door to door for profit do.
And so if, under the current ordinance, because, I admit, I'm somewhat confused by it, we still have some religious groups going through my neighborhood, so they should be prohibited if you have the orange sticker listed?
Yes.
Okay.
But they don't have to come register at the police.
Because they're not...
Registered, but they're still prohibited from knocking on your door.
Okay.
They can deliver information and drop it at your door, but they can't knock.
But if a 12-year-old has, cookies for sale or something, they are still allowed to go?
If you're selling cookies, children under the age of 18.
Under 18, I just want to make sure.
Newspapers
Are
are.
they registered, but are they allowed to go to a do not knock house?
No. No, it
So
isn't.
that doesn't really count.
Sometimes you can't see the signs because they are a little bit further in. So you walk up and you see the sign later. So how do you encounter that?
Well, I think as a matter of law, right now, it's not a crime to walk up to the door. If you pass it, theoretically, you'd have the defense that you didn't see it and it wasn't sufficiently visible. That would be a defense to a charge of violating the ordinance.
There's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a list that you can go to the police department and they will hand you a list of everybody who is registered on the do not knock. And so then you don't have to do the guessing game.
And is that part of the registration materials for a peddler? They get that list from you when they pay their fee? And you vet them?
If there were a canvasser who violated the do not knock, I believe the police response would be to educate the person first, not to cite. But to educate them that there is this list, and that's what's.
Have any residents expressed interest in taking this a step further? Besides.
Brandon.
There's still a lot of confusion. I mean, I'm confused, and I helped pass the legislation as far as some of these things, especially where religious groups are involved. So, I mean, I think, and some people still haven't heard about this. I know we've publicized it in the electronic, newsletter and the paper one. I think it might be worth it to put through there again.
These things every periodically.
And everybody who signed up last year, it's set to expire at the end of this year anyhow.
I think what Brent's asking, though, is have we had complaints from residents saying that they object to people knocking on their door when they don't have the sticker?
Knocking on the door, just leaving material when they have.
When there is a sticker?
Whether or not there's a sticker.
Besides you.
No, we haven't had a complaint. We did have people complaining from solicitors and everything. The do not knock did take care of it. I just want to express to you, Brandon, because we never had a chance to talk about this, but what I think this does effectively is eliminate the Orange Village candidates, because they're the only ones that would want to leave you literature, and then you can't get that literature if this passes. Plus,
It's not accurate, though.
how else would they give you the literature?
United States Post Office.
Without incurring
Or
additional...
email, or, I mean, there's still an expense to, I mean, there's the bags and all that stuff. And I understand the, knocking on people's doors as a candidate to go meet people. Because the purpose is to go shake hands and see people and meet people, and I get that, and if somebody doesn't have it, I'm all for that. To go and meet someone who doesn't have a do not knock and knock on their door and meet them. But I think by having the do not knock, you can't knock on the door anyway, so there you're just basically a paper delivery person.
I have to counter that. Just in answer to Brent's question, I had people respond to me the other way, and just for the record, I didn't use any plastic bags. I just did door hangers, so they sat right on there, saving the environment. But I did have people that when I would leave something, not knock on their door, and a dog would bark, or or an automatic light would turn on, and people would come to the door. I had people keep me for the better part of 45 minutes or an hour because they said, that was for people, we don't want peddlers coming around, we don't want that, that's why we have the do not knock. And I said, I didn't want to disturb you, I wasn't going to knock on your door, I just wanted to leave the information. And they said, please come talk to us, we're glad you're here. And then we had lots of discussions, and I think that whole personal connection is one of the things that, at least I know, I love most about Orange Village. And I feel like if we get too stringent, all of a sudden everything becomes a keep off our property, keep off the yard. We're losing that sense of community, and I just want to be careful of that. I liked the idea of going door to door. I liked the idea of being able to leave something, even if I didn't get to talk to the person. At least there was a better chance that they'd actually read the material and look at it than if it came in a bunch of mail with everything else that's just really easy to toss. And I had people, and some of them I wrote notes that said, if you would like to talk, I can't knock because it's a do not knock. If you would like to talk, please call me or email me. I got a lot of responses that way through people that I think just hadn't intended for campaigners to be the result of the do not knock, but set it up a different way. So
that's my concern, Brandon, that really all we're eliminating by this is the local candidates.
But it's not. I think my own opinion is, I think we're being, I don't want to say, my opinion is we're being a little bit selfish if we're saying that we shouldn't do this for the reason that we campaign, but I'm not looking at it just for that. This is an example of it, but, there's been other times where people have left stuff on my, whether it's, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of things, but, you get things on the door, and it's,
I wanted to
You
listen.
guys sound like a curmudgeon.
Yeah, you do.
I just want to point out
Done. I've been interrupted 3 times. Other thing I wanted to point out about this and why I find it problematic is, some people have a mailbox or a newspaper box that you can put it in, but probably 30% of the residents, me, you, those of us who live in condos, we don't have any place that we could receive any of this drop-off information, because we don't have mailboxes, we don't have a place to put our do not knock sign. So I sort of would like to continue getting the literature without the knocking.
I think there's a technical issue that's probably a little more difficult to deal with, and the fact of the matter is, irrespective of whether you add this literature, add this language to the legislation or not, you still have this little placard that sits on the front door that's difficult for people to see until they, depending on where it's placed and what's the relationship to the sidewalk. And unless you are able to put something out on the street, it's not going to prevent somebody from at least walking up the driveway till they find out, oh, I can't knock on the door here, and turn around and come back. By then, they may have already the dog is already barking. So I'm not I think to some extent, it's almost a solution and look in search of a problem. And if anything, we need to perhaps look at what that tag is that's on the door, so it is more clearly visible and more understandable as to what it means, so that those people who are canvassing and using, coming up to our houses, can understand that and not disturb us.
And I'm wondering if there's another way, and maybe we just haven't thought this through yet, I know I haven't, to disseminate information, to get people who don't have those newspaper boxes to put it in, but don't have, some doors didn't have handles that I could put things on, and some, I know we can't put it on the flag or in the mailbox, but maybe there's another way to get people information without disturbing them, so that if there's dogs or if there's baby sleeping or the Goodyear blimp. Yeah, we'll just put it up there. I don't know if there's another way to disseminate that information, but if there isn't, shy of that, I did like having the opportunity to leave information for people to contact me if they were so inclined.
So the answer to Brent's question is no, we haven't.
So that then brings me to the question of, what if certain property owners who never want somebody to come near their door to deliver anything has a no trespassing sign well before the door? Does that suffice, that not allowing people to come to the door to drop off something?
If you were on a condominium property, you may not be able to put signage in the common area, so I don't know how that would work.
But generally speaking, if you do have a no trespassing sign, correct me if I'm wrong, that does indicate to the person that you can't come on my property.
Yes. But again, with a condominium property, it's a little more complicated because it's common area. So people have the right to pass over certain area of the property, so.
Well, that's the beauty of first reading. That's more.
Further discussion to follow.
We'll get to that at another time, unless there's any other comments on this now.
Speak the next one.
It's next.
Well,
Michael Hayes.
Herb, sit down. Herb, sit down for 1 minute. We didn't get there. Hey, now we're moving on to audience comments relating to matters which have been. And would you like to come speak? That'd be great.
This guy looks familiar.
You know, some of you who may not know, this is the first time in 32 years that I ever sat on this side of the dais. And I just have to say, folks...
Mr. Braverman, if you'd please state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, Herb Braverman, 3950 Orangewood Drive. Just want to say I'm beginning to understand why people don't drop around more often, but that's neither here nor there. I wanted to tell a little legislative story. It won't take long, very short, Brandon, but I think it's helpful at the beginning of a legislative year to think about this little parable I'm going to give you. First of all, it's about a guy named Jack. and he's driving home at the end of the day through Washington DC, and he's in the largest traffic jam he's ever seen in Washington DC. I mean, he can't see the front of it. He's waiting, looks, has his head out, can't see a thing. Finally, this guy comes along and taps on the window. He rolls down his window, and the guy says, something terrible has happened. Some terrorists had captured the United States Congress. And the guy says, oh, that's terrible. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? He said, well, if they don't get $100 million in cash, okay, then they're going to burn, they're going to cover the legislature with gas, and they're going to burn them. He said, so what do you want from me? He said, well, I want you to make a donation. He said, well, what's everybody else giving? He said, a gallon or two. You'll get it when you go home. Anyhow, the point is, I want to wish everybody a good year. Those who've just been added to the council, and those who've been on council for a while. And as I said, I'll be streaming. I won't be here. I only came because I was invited to support the swearing in of some of the people. I really enjoyed the evening. Thank you.
Always happy to have you. Any other comments?
This is what we can expect, or is this as good as it gets? Uh-oh.
Hi, my name is Juanita Bryn. I'm a Global Protocol. My address is 16804 Glendale Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. For those who don't know me, I am your state representative. I'm so glad to be here. I just want to send a special congratulations to our mayor for winning re-election, to our new members, Stacy and Pradeep, and also to Brent. Nice to meet you too, and also to our council president again on his re-election. And I just thank you guys, and I still remember my first time coming here when the mic was in the middle of the room. If you guys are trying to figure out where the mic goes, it goes in the middle. Not over here. But I just want to thank you guys for always being so welcoming, and also being one of the best cities out here that has no plastic bags, and I'm so glad to be able to represent you guys at the State House, because you guys are truly an example of what happens when we are taking that step. And I remember when Councilman Duber introduced that, and I remember sitting there in the crowd before I became a state rep and introducing that, and now we are setting the trend for the entire state on what progress really looks like. So thank you so much.
How is the ban legislation down there?
Passed in the House, but I talked about us on the House floor about people talked about how within the state of Ohio they're scared their businesses are going to run away. Orange Village is a perfect example how even though we have this plastic bag ban, we have tons of businesses that are lining up to come to our village. So what does that say? People will come regardless if there's a plastic bag ban or not, and they will adjust to those changes because this is where people want to come.
Is it going to pass the Senate?
Probably so.
And the governor's indicated he might.
The governor's against it, so he will plan on vetoing it. So I talked to him about it.
He will veto?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you could teach some of those idiots and of your colleagues to be responsible people like we are. So I always appreciate you coming here, and thank you. All right. Anybody else who would like to speak? Come on up.
I wanted to say congratulations to all of the newly electeds and the re-electeds, and this is a little bit high for me, but I'll cope. I just want to ask, that works better.
Please state your name as well.
Thank you for that reminder. I'm Deborah Comet, and I'm at 3929 East Ash Lane in Orange Village. I wanted to ask you all to seriously consider not passing that ordinance to tell people they can't knock on doors where there's that silly orange sticker. I personally think it's a violation of free speech. That's my opinion. I think it's...
ordinance is already passed. This is so there's already the do not knock ordinance, which is already passed.
Right.
This is just an amendment to that to basically say you can't put literature on the door.
You should consider not passing that and getting rid of the other one, because I think it's a violation of free speech, and I think the city's asking for litigation. You know, I think the the intent of that rule, if applied to political speech, is a violation of the First Amendment. So I would seriously ask you all, not to do that. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Yes, would you like to come up? Hi, how are you? So good to see you. I know.
What a special night. Lots of guests.
Good evening to you all. I'm Judge Gail Williams Byers. I am not only a candidate for 2020 Ohio 8th District Court of Appeals, but I am here specifically to say congratulations to all of the newly elected officials here, particularly Leader Pradeep Kamat here, who invited me for his investiture, and I slid in like James Brown. Because I had a couple other events to be at this evening, but it was very important that I be here this evening to say congratulations to you and to all of you who have decided to serve your community. I was just saying to someone earlier, and I'll say to each of you, that public service is something that is sacrificial. And it is obvious by you all being here today that you all have decided and have committed to this thing we call a democracy, and that you're not voluntold, but you rather volunteer to do this, and that no one does it alone. It is obvious that with your families by your side, that you have the support systems that allow us to do this, and that's why our democracy thrives the way it does. So to each of you who have decided to tag into this game, thank you so much for making sure that our democracy is alive and well. We appreciate your service, and a special hello to Council President, who I have had the honor of knowing for quite a while.
Prosecutors together.
We did. We did, and you are doing a wonderful job, sir. Thank you so very much for your leadership here. Thank you very much, and to all of you, I wish for you a thriving 2020. This is a beautiful community, and it is showing by the leadership that it has. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
What are you a judge in?
I'm currently the judge in South Euclid. I'm running countywide for 8th District Court of Appeals. Thank you very much. Be well.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good luck.
for coming, Judge. You're always welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Any other audience comments tonight? You can come if you want. Please come up to the microphone, state your name.
Can we have a 10-second tape delay on this one?
Hello, I'm Kaden Vincent. I am an Orange resident. I have lived here my whole life, and I just want to say congratulations to all the new members and the returning members. I know you guys will do a phenomenal job, and I'm proud of you, Mom. So.
Favorite child?
He is now.
Any other comments?
He's baiting you.
Moving on to committee reports and comments by council members. Mrs. Perry?
No report.
All right, Mr. Silver?
First of all, congratulations to Stacy and Pradeep. Welcome to council. If you have any questions on procedure or anything, don't come to me because I'm still trying to figure this out too. One thing I did notice, I drove by the sledding hill recently. I noticed some new trees were planted.
We planted about 800 trees all over.
Yeah.
But there's two that he's going to move because they're a little too close to the hill.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't like them there either.
Standing right by them when I told them where they go, and so, yes, they will be located.
It was there for a reason and it gets utilized, so.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Stop you at the bottom of the hill.
You don't want the tree to stop you.
That's all I had.
Thank you. Pradeep?
I wanted to thank everybody for coming, and no comments at this point in time.
All right, great, thank you. Mr. Boski?
Congratulations to the new members of council. I look forward to serving with all of you. Mr. Zugan, I have a couple of quick questions for you. Do you have an update on the timeline for the restrooms at the park?
We're just starting due diligence on that.
I was going to talk about it in my report, yeah.
Sorry to steal your thunder. That's good.
We started looking into it. We engaged communication with First Energy because we have no improvements back there right now, so we have to bring power down White Drive. There's water back there that services drinking fountain, and geography and topography doesn't fare well with us trying to get sanitary up to our pump station, so we're moving along on that. My expectation, based on what get back from First Energy, that we won't be bare minimum 6 to 7 months before we even get power back there, so.
Maybe end of the summer this year, or is that too? Okay.
So, I've talked with the mayor, and when she comes back from vacation, we'll be talking a little more in depth about it.
And then for the rec trails, do you have the costs so far as what expenses have been incurred for the main parts? I'm just wondering the timeline for the alternates, when that discussion was going to take place?
End of the month.
I saw something today with the village engineer. He's quantified some numbers. They're still working. We've been through 11 pay apps. We're about 3.1 on our base bid. So there's a couple discrepancies that we're working on to get final numbers that is affecting the contingency. That too will be, myself and the village engineer will be meeting with the mayor when she comes back to discuss that. And certainly we understand the notion that's moving forward and how we want to progress.
Trying to determine how much money's left, and if there's not enough to do Orangewood, how much we'd have to go into our funds for, make a recommendation whether we feel we can, depending on what other infrastructure projects we have to do this year, and then we will come to council with that situation for the decision. Within the next 2 months.
Okay, and then my next question is for you, for the mayor. When is the timing for the traffic study for Pinecrest, as far as?
18 months, takes them till June or July, and I haven't even spoken to them about it at all yet, so.
I know just anecdotally, I witnessed, I'm sure the chief saw or heard about it. I know during Christmas time, 271 was backed up the better part of the way towards the entrance to Richmond Road at times. And I was stuck there in traffic for quite a while. I mean, I know it was Christmas week, but I'm assuming that, are we keeping track of these traffic issues?
271?
271 approaching the Harvard exit, and I mean, it was still the merge lane from Richmond getting onto 271.
I'd like to bring to council attention that I just was at a meeting Monday, and I sat next to Dennis O'Neill, who's our regional guy for ODOT, for the Ohio Department of Transportation. Those lanes have opened up on 271 southbound, which has caused great consternation to the police department and to the residents with the traffic that we've been seeing, because 271 was backing up so far, people that they couldn't go eastbound on I-422. So everybody was getting off at Harvard, Richmond Emery, Sharon Boulevard, and then coming through to Simon Center Road or down Miles and Brainerd and Lander. Well, it's been opened up, and very shortly, there's going to be continuous lanes for the express that are going to be opened up. I mean, soon, he didn't give me an exact time, but I would suggest probably by spring. And we've already seen a significant reduction of traffic in the village since the freeway, because the freeway has been causing us this problem for years. So we should see a serious reduction, particularly in the evening, of traffic starting out, and should be even better come the spring.
Ending 271 project south of 40.
Coming to an end, $180 million well spent.
Did they put an extra?
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
You go.
They've been doing that for 5+ years or so.
It was a very long project, it was. And for those of us who have driven that a lot, and if you want to go southbound and either remain southbound or go to 480, you better see the way that thing splits now, because it's different. It's not the same anymore. And if you don't get over to the right away to get off, or to get on the 480 stuff, there's a whole lot of people making a turnaround in Macedonia at 82.
Are you talking about on 271 South to get onto 480?
Correct.
Yeah, below Broadway.
South 480, passed by Broadway, Forbes.
East. Okay, so were they able to put the extra lane both ways where it pinch points?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And there's going to be additional lanes very, very soon for the express. So how the express used to come into the southbound lanes, and that caused another pinch point. That's going to be continuing through as well. The only good news is things are going to get better.
Right, and this was going northbound. The traffic was backed up like by Playground World at Renaissance Parkway, if that gives you an idea, just to get off there. I mean, it was all people going into Pinecrest. If we had 2 lanes there turning in, I think that would have made a difference, possibly. But, I mean...
They can't have 2 lanes, because then people have to get up.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I went up to Chagrin, which was no...
It was much better.
Somebody who knows the area should know a better way to go.
The other question I had for the mayor, any update from Beechwood on things?
I just wrote an email to James Pash. I haven't heard back from him yet. And I asked Steve to call their law director. So no.
Okay. Well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, number of things on my laundry list here. Planning Commission met last night. Brief report on that. We had a number of house additions that were approved. We had our organizational meeting, and the mayor was re-elected as chair, and Brian Hitt as chair pro tem for Planning Commission. We're on the road to do. There's not a lot coming up at the next Planning Commission meeting, but I expect we're going to see some stuff down the road come spring. The other thing I wanted to just touch base on a couple other things. I believe this is Police Appreciation Week. Is that, Chief? Yeah, I understand. But this is a particular week that identifies police for their work as safety servants of our communities, that I wanted to express my thank you for all the great work that Orange Police Department does for our community. I want to also welcome all of my new council colleagues. Congratulations on your being seated, and looking forward to working closely with you over the next several years. And two things that I did want to bring up that are maybe new areas of discussion. Number one, I've talked about in the past economic development strategy. I think that the time is to begin to sort of tease that out and decide how we might want to go forward, particularly as we think about what Orange Place looks like in the long run, and the kinds of businesses and developments we want to see continue to be there. I'm going to focus on that, and we'll talk further. Something else that came up sort of serendipitously the end of last year, I happened to fall into a meeting at the American Heart Association that talked about vaping.
Why don't you explain how you got there?
I didn't want to make the story that long. I didn't want to go into Herb's joke. I was supposed to be going to a meeting for global development in Cleveland, and as I arrived at the location, apparently this meeting was at another location in the same place, and I got steered into that. And as I sat there, I said, this can't be the Global Cleveland meeting, but it seems to be very interesting. And it was a panel discussion including 4 physicians and 4 students from local high schools. And they talked about the challenges and problems with vaping, and that there is no current regulation for this industry. And they expressed concern that the government, that our federal government in particular, is not taking this particularly seriously and doing anything about it. There seems to be some effort being done by FDA, but nothing real significantly. And they said,
The age?
pardon?
Didn't they just raise?
Yeah.
21.
One?
Yeah.
But the availability of some of these devices is deadly. And they pointed out many of the issues that come about. And they subsequently, I stood up and said, well, I'm a local community representative, and what can we do about it? How might we do something to change the landscape of this particular challenge? And a woman who was sitting behind me and works for the American Heart Association sent me some literature from other communities around the country that have enacted vaping ordinances to reduce the sales and use of these products. They are deadly, they are dangerous, they are causing problems that we are not even foreseeing right now, and the only way that we're going to be able to accomplish anything is to address it on a local grassroots level. And I would share with you all, I will forward to you some of the literature from these other communities that have enacted vaping ordinances in their communities to restrict not only to the sale of young people, but to all people of some of these products, because they are no different than, and perhaps worse than, smoking cigarettes. And so we need to act. And I'd like to, for us, as we have been a vanguard in other areas of legislation, perhaps this, while I don't know that we have a lot of incidents where these products are being sold in our community, there are a few outlets, but I think if we set the bar and start introduce legislation on it, others may follow. So,
Ban it?
Pardon?
To ban it? To do what?
To restrict, I don't know what to do. I want to look at some of these other ordinances together and consider how we might address it.
One thing you definitely want to look at is the schools about a year or two ago started to do ABC group at the high school that specifically deals with the issues of vaping, which has been an ongoing problem. And we did have I moderated a panel about a year ago where we had some doctors and some various people from the community talking about the issues, and I'm sure they'd be very amenable to working with you on that too.
So it may be a study group that needs to look at this and see if there's something we should or can do, might do, and we'll look at this going forward, but I did want to bring it up and introduce it as something that we should consider in our purview. And Happy New Year, everyone. And as this is the year of 2020, I hope that we will have and all share that vision. So I'll pass the ball along to my new colleague, Stacy Vincent.
So I know everyone wants cake, and I apologize for the length that this might be. It's my first one, and it's 10 months in the making, so bear with me if you can. I promise all future comments will be shorter. I want to congratulate my new colleagues, Brent Silver and Pradeep Kamat. It was a pleasure campaigning with you, and I look forward to serving with you. And I want to congratulate and welcome back our Mayor, Kathy Mulcahy, and our President, Brandon Duber. I know you will both continue to serve us well. And to Scott and Jed and Lisa, I'm just totally honored to serve with you guys. I've respected all that you've done on council the past year that I've been following you, and I'm so looking forward to working with you in the year ahead. And to Dana and to Anna and to Steve and all the Bobs, and there are lots of Bobs in Orange, I found out, and Chief Costura, I thank you for all you do and all your efforts to make acclimating to this position so much easier and so much better. We have lots of stories that we will share continually and remember, I'm sure, through the years. I also look forward to continuing to build that relationship in the next 4 years. And I want to welcome Amanda to the Finance Committee, and I look forward to working with you as well. To my husband and sons and parents and family, and I have friends actually all over the world that are watching tonight. What are we up to on the live stream? I think it's increased about 1,000% tonight, maybe. I want to say thank you. It's been a privilege traversing our village with you as I got to know the coolest neighbors anywhere in the world, and I found them right here in our own backyard, and how blessed and humbled I am to be able to serve this wonderful group of people. I'm so honored that Ryan is here and not back at college, and I thank Caden for his comments. It's a joy to have you all here. Leland, thank you for being here. I'm not sure I'm going to make the full 32 devoted years given by Herb and by Francis. They both started much younger than I did, but I thank them for leading me down this path, and I am beyond honored to sit in the seat that Francis filled so beautifully for more than 3 decades, and I hope I can make her proud. Finally, I want to thank friends who are here, family who are here and watching. Michelle's out in the audience today, and my brother and sister and their families were here earlier, and I'm just so grateful that you've been supportive all throughout all of this, and I'm honored to have you here tonight. And I want to let all of my fellow Orange residents know that my door will always be open to you, as I promised. Whether you voted for me or even if you didn't, I'm willing and looking forward to spending the next 4 years to earn their trust, and I will work hard for everybody, and I hope everyone will keep me at my word on that. You hit it before I did, but I'll say that I won't always have perfect 2020 vision, but I will always try to see things as clearly as I can. That said, to the task at hand, I do have a couple things that I had some questions about. Almost a year ago to date, our village set the trend by passing the Plastic Bag Org Ordinance, and I wanted to suggest that much like with the recycling cans that we had, we look at a possibility of providing households with at least one bag. I brought visuals. Just
applied for the ones that the county's giving out. We're getting.
Okay, so I know they're not terribly expensive, and I think the incentive to our neighbors and residents, they just keep it in the car and then they have it right there, I think is a great idea and a great way to move forward. They're durable, they're wonderful, and it continues the effort that we're making, so I'd like to see that happen. I looked at the mayor's goals from a year ago, and one was rolling out a comprehensive CPR first aid program, and I love that idea, but I hadn't heard anything about it, and I just was wondering if that's something in the works.
The chief, Wilson could probably talk about that, but we did hold classes during this year at our businesses, went to the businesses and offered classes, and how many did we offer for residents in the past year?
I think we had one per quarter, is that correct, Anna?
I'm sorry?
CPR classes, how many did we have per quarter, do you remember?
Well, we had two, but we didn't have people sign up, so we
Nobody
canceled them.
showed up, so I think we had one person show up.
We offer them, we advertise them, and we also do it for businesses in the community. So if you want to participate in rolling that out, we will. A fellow who handles it for us is just recovering from a physical situation.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think it's a great thing that I'm guessing people just, for whatever reason, don't know about. During the debates, the reforestation of the area on Miles was brought into question. I've seen the stakes and the trees. I'm just wondering what the time frame is. Is it completed, and now we're just waiting for them to grow, or is
Waiting for them to grow, we're going to put in wildflower seeds, and that's it. Let it go natural.
it'll be nice to see that when that's up. I had some questions about the trails, but Mr. Bilski brought that up. And I do want to say, speaking of the trails, I have spoken at length about the trail talks I want to do, and I will start those in the spring, looking forward. And my trail talks, this was one of my campaign things of starting at a certain time at a certain place and walking the trails to Pinecrest and having people walk and talk along the way, and maybe meet for coffee at First Watch or one of those wonderful places we have at Pinecrest, and then walk back on the other side of the trail. So I'm looking forward to the continuation of those and making that happen, and we'll publicize that too. As you know, my tie to the schools is very important to me, and I look forward to being that tie that Ron Barron was, connecting council and Orange Village residents to the school. One other thing that I would like to see happen, and just to let people know, I would like to see sort of a council of councils where we have one council representative from each of our 5 districts, 7 including the 2 outskirts, the Solon and Warrensville Heights, where we just talk about council issues and things that affect our different towns and villages. The schools are such a central point for all of the different towns and villages, and I think we all have something that we can share and offer, much like the mayors do together. So I'd like to move forward in that direction in the year ahead. OCR spoke earlier. I wanted to let you all know that they're hosting a basketball game on Friday night, staff versus staff, and Kaden is going to be doing play-by-play, but I encourage you all to support OCR and come out and check that out. And one other thing that I want to see happen is updating the website, and I know we're going to talk about that too. I think the communication with our residents is so crucial, and I'd like to see easy access to a lot of information out there on the website. On a serious note, I want to thank Chief Costura and others in joining in on the condemnation of the anti-Semitism and the what's been going on in New York. And there's so many serious issues right now around the world, between the fires in Australia and what's going on in Iran, and I thought one thing that I want to start, and hopefully we'll do on a regular basis, is a kind of a segment of a slice of orange, if you will, where I relate something positive from either people in our community, something they're doing, or something going on in our community that we share with everybody. So for my first segment, yes, pun intended, slice of orange segment, we have 2 things that I think are interesting of note. One, we may have an Olympian in our midst. Orange Village resident Janie Boyle, who is currently a freshman at the University of Texas, will compete with the best divers in the country at the Olympic Trials in Indianapolis in June, and she recently qualified at USA Diving's nationals, and she finished 8th in the country, making her eligible to compete at the trials. And I think that's awesome and incredible, and it would be our own Orange Village diver at the Olympics if that happens, so fingers crossed. And another thing, our own Marvin Davies, who just signed, he is going to be playing football at Ohio State University. Marvin Davies Jr. Is going to be playing at Ohio State, so I'm a Northwestern Wildcat, true and true, but go Buckeyes, OH. So I think it's great that we have wonderful Orange going Scarlet and Gray, Orange going Nationals, and I just look forward to sharing more of these great things. So that's all I have. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy decade. Happy healthy to everybody. And I'm honored to serve with all of you.
Thank you. Mayor, comments?
Yes, I do have a number of comments tonight, but I'm going to go first to the one that addresses why we have our fine police officers in the room tonight. We have Officer...
Byron, please put your hands behind your back.
We have Officer Bittenbinder and Sergeant Sherwood, but tonight I want to focus on Officer Gobriel. Right there, Michael Gobriel. Do you know why you're here? Oh, because I wanted to acknowledge his accomplishment. He has earned the designation, and congratulations. He is the top OVI and seatbelt officer of the department for all of 2019. He had 6 OVIs and 35 seatbelt citations. He was first place in both categories, and nice work. Good job.
You want to say what OVI is?
What is it?
It's a deep. Yeah, it's right.
You want to make a speech, Michael?
Oh.
Good job. Okay. Now go drive. Thank you for coming in. For the new council people, and also all the not new council people are more than welcome, but over the next month or 6 weeks or so, the department heads and I are going to schedule some operational tours for you. We'll probably do it in the hour before council meetings, or on the first week, the hour and a half, so that we don't miss finance. But I'll get back to you. We haven't picked the date yet, but we'll get back to you. It'll be a council meeting night, and we'll do police one night and fire one night. And it's good for the new people because you'll get a chance to see operations. It's also good for the existing people because maybe we'll have a chance to also talk about some of their needs and the wish list items that we're planning for in the future. So we'll let you know about that. There was an article in the newspaper this week, or was it just yesterday. Cuyahoga County home prices up for the 7th straight year. The top gains by percent from 2018 to 2019 were Orange Village. We were up 30.7%. The average price of homes went from $270,000 to $353,000 on the sale of 60 homes last year. So we were the top in the county. Now, when we have the Cleveland Rating the Suburbs study, and sometimes we're low and sometimes we're high, I always say when we don't make it, it doesn't mean that much. When we make it, we're all very proud. This really means that a lot of more expensive homes were sold last year. We had a lot of homes in Lakes of Orange that are a higher price point. Of course, that brings up the median. But it sure looked nice to read it when it was in the paper. I will be asking the law director to get legislation drafted for council's consideration. We passed the union contract last month, and there are certain benefits in there that we altered and brought up higher, that we will want to bring the non-union employees into parity with the union employees, so we'll have to adjust a few of the things. One was the vacation schedule. That might be it, but we got to go through the union contract and compare it. And also, there will be legislation before council for a contract for we have a backup building commissioner, but our backup building commissioner is not available the week that our commissioner is going out of town, so we need to enter into an arrangement with another building commissioner who actually...
Back up to the backup.
For the backup?
Yeah, backup for the backup, yeah. But there's a 1 week or 10-day period where we need it, so we have to get that in place so that he can be our building commissioner. And it's somebody wwho's worked for us before, Rick LeConte. So it's an easy transition. I am very disappointed to relay to everybody that my big fight, you can't fight, they say you can't fight City Hall. I would say you can fight City Hall. You can't fight the post office. We have been denied our request to be a last line designation in our zip codes. The reasoning defies logic. I can't understand why they say it makes it harder if we're more specific about the city, but I guess we've been through the,
What does that mean?
when you buy something online, you put in 44022. It
Comes up.
Falls, maybe Bentleyville, maybe Moreland Hills, but you'll never see Orange. That's a last line designation that we can't get. We have 4 zip codes in Orange Village and 2 area codes. And all I want is to be able to say Orange Village 44122, and we can't. People still do, go ahead.
None of the zip codes?
Beechwood.
Nope, we can't, we got refused, and this was after.
This is like issues with some of the RETA taxes and stuff like that. That's been some of the issues. It's ridiculous, but.
Community spirit and all that, and I had the help of Senator Brown and Congresswoman Fudge, and we were denied. I'm not going to give quite as long nitty-gritty list, but the main 2020 goals that the administration will be looking for council's support and partnership to advance in 2020 are the following. We will be transitioning to new financial software. The decision to do that's already been made, but the effort to put it in place is ahead of us. Also in 2020 is our biannual audit by the state of Ohio. Our goal is to have another clean audit covering 2018 and 2019. In 2020, we're going to have a new party in the park event. I think it's on June 14th, save the date. That might be the initial trail talk, because we're going to encourage everybody to come on the trails. You already asked the question about Orangewood. That was in here, is to get that figured out. We also need a new webmaster. This is our first time, since we've gotten a website, that we are without a webmaster. We are interested in any input or suggestions anyone who knows something about this can give us, but that is a big project that we're going to undertake starting very soon. And if people are wondering where your e-news are, we might be a little bit undependable till we get this set up. Again, for 2020, we are getting the new permanent bathroom in the park, which is a big project because it requires the extension of sewer and electricity. But a lot of the work's done because we had applied for a grant for this project for the last 2 years, so we do know a lot of the specs and whatnot that we're looking for, right?
Some dollar values for sure.
Right. We'll be doing some decorating and updating in some of the 25-year-plus rooms. In fact, I just noticed that there's a tear in the carpet over there, and we hadn't talked about that, which we probably need to. When we take you for a tour of the police department, you will see the police department is the first area that, because of the construction and the renovation, is getting its first update with new flooring and new walls, new wall color. And I've been told by the police department that it is already brightening up their day and improving employee morale exponentially. Right, Chief? Okay. We will begin research in 2020 for the new rescue squad, which we have scheduled for, is it 21 or 22? 21. We will also be engaging in a facility study for the needs of the police garage and space for the fire department. The Pinecrest / Walnut Hills residential proposal will be probably moving forward this year. I have seen a updated version, and we're going to see that again later this month. Get it into a point where we can bring it out and get its approvals or changes or whatever we'll do with it. The biggest project for this year, and one that's already consumed quite a lot of time and energy, is the goal of getting the 55 acres in the Weintraub property donated or acquired for the village, to put it in green space in perpetuity, allowing for the 24 acres on the western edge to be developed by something that is appropriate and acceptable to us. We have been working, we applied for a $1.2 million grant from the Clean Ohio Fund, which I don't think we'll get this year, but maybe we'll get it next year, because they don't want to be first dollar in, they'd like to be last dollar in. We're working hard right now on a $1 million grant to the Ohio Biannual Capital Budget Bill, and we've had the support and help of our representative. on that. We gave a presentation to all the delegation we invited, but only 2 came. I'm meeting tomorrow with one of the senators, and so we've been putting a lot of effort into trying to make that happen. And at some point during 2020, we will get the preparation and get ready to do an updated survey at some point during the year. So I think those are sufficient goals to work on. You knew somebody from Land from Public Trust. It's time to bring these people in. I have a meeting with the Western Reserve Conservancy at the end of the month, and we're just looking under every rock for whatever money we can find to make it happen. That completes my...
All right. I will limit my comments to making a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Call roll, please.
You want cake? I want cake.
See my kids.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
What's that?
Bilski.
Yes.
Ahmet. Vincent.
Yes.
Perry. Huber.
Yes.